All right. Appreciate you guys coming. We had a big win this weekend, one we needed. Puts us at 2-1 the last 3 games, and where we're at in our program, we're just trying to build and get to create milestones for our team and our program. And one of the milestones that we had going into the game was win a game on the road, because we had not done that this year. So our other wins have been at home. We're 2-1 at home. So we hadn't played very well on the road, to be quite honest with you, at Henderson or Southern Arkansas. Southeastern we played well offensively, but defensively we did not. But this game, we went in with the mindset of that, hey, we need to win a game on the road and play well. And didn't start off so well. Start out in the hole, 21-0. We kick off. Again, I kicked off both halves. And what's funny is the wind's blowing 40 miles an hour. All right, 40 miles an hour before the game. And I go to the refs. I say, hey, whatever our quarterback does when he does a coin toss, I want to kick off. And I want the wind. So we win the coin toss, and we choose to defend the wind, with the wind. And their guy goes, okay, we'll kick off. All right, that's great for us, because then they're going to kick off into the wind. And the ref corrects them and lets them – first of all, the refs were shocked that I would kick off both halves, which I've done before. Did it twice last year. We're used to the wind. They were not. And I think that we played the wind game better. Not at first. At first, I was like, man, that did not work. But the third half, the second half, third quarter, it definitely paid off. So we kick the ball off and we get a touchback, which we expected, and then they're going to have to throw into the wind. Well, first play, they throw a little short pass, and they take it all the way down to our 20, and then they score the next play, I think. So there goes that. Down 7-0 with a couple seconds off the clock. I mean, about a minute. So right there, I'm like, man, come on now, we gotta buck up a little bit. And then the second drive, or the first drive, we go all the way down there, and first time we get stopped in the red zone. We go four downs, and get stopped in the red zone. So then they proceed to drive it all the way down and score again. So I'm like, man, and they kick off to us, and we throw a pick six. So it starts out 21-0. Last year we were up on them 21-0. So it's poetic justice, basically, where we're down 21-0 as opposed to being up 21-0 like last year. We settle down. They kick off they actually kick off, and the wind's so bad the ball goes backwards, and they get the ball back. So it's already 21-0. They get the ball back. I'm like, oh my goodness. We actually stop. We get a stop finally, and I'm like, hey, we need to settle down. Let's run the ball. And Jalen Williams, we give the ball to Jalen Williams, our freshman, one of our we're playing with 2 freshman tailbacks. The tailbacks that are running all over the field right now and getting all the yards, which we're averaging like 6 yards a carry for the last 4 games, are freshmen. They're freshmen. We haven't skipped a beat, losing Anthony Cota, which we thought we would. Haven't missed a beat. And Jalen takes the ball 66 yards for a touchdown. So it's 21-7 at that point. We score again. Then they score, making it 28-14. Then we score right before the half to make it 21-28 going into halftime. We know we got to kick off, so we kick off to them, and we get a fumble recovery on about the 30-yard line, their 30-yard line, deep in their territory. And the second half, which is funny, the second half we only ran we ran 2 plays that we practiced all week. All right, so at halftime, we completely made adjustments all over the place to get our kids an advantageous offensive, where we could really take advantage of what they're doing offensively for our offense. Defensively, we made some adjustments too, and the third quarter was basically just a blitzkrieg of 3 and outs, them getting turnovers, them turning the ball over. We had 3 turnovers in the third quarter that we got. And we scored 34 points unanswered very quickly. And they couldn't recover. They were shocked. We're up by 14, and I onside kick it in with the wind, which no one ever does. Not like that. That was they were not ready for that. So we played the surprise game, and I think we made great adjustments throughout the game, both offensively and defensively. And finally, I think we played a complete game. Yeah, we gave up a lot of points, but again, we're continuing to improve, and we're trying to get our kids into a position to be successful, knowing what our identity is. Look, I mean, if I had the defense where we could not score any points and still win the game, that would be great. That would be awesome. We don't have that. We have an offense that's explosive. We have to score points. Defense has to get enough stops for us to win. So your thinking has to be reversed with where we're at on the defensive side of the ball. So we can score points in bunches, and that's got to be our identity. And I think our guys are finally buying into that. The last 4 games have been really competitive, really barn burners. I know we're scoring. I mean, a lot of points scored on us. We're scoring a lot of points, but that's where we're at, and that's how we have to be successful currently. I'd love to have a defense that never gave up any points, and I could make the game a lot shorter. It makes a lot less pressure on you as a play caller, but that's not where we're at, because I get a lot of questions about that. Just not where we're at right now. Playing a lot of young guys. So, but this win was huge for us. Basically paying them back for what happened here in very similar fashion. All right, we rushed for 250 yards on them and threw for almost 300 yards. So, very sound night for us offensively. Reed Miller, for the second time of the year out of 7 games, was the player of the conference offensively. He scored 7 touchdowns the other night. Which is he's accounted for 7 touchdowns twice this year and 6 one other time, which is very, very good. And then Maurice Wright defensively was the defensive player of the conference. So we had a defensive player of the conference, which we're really proud of. Proud of Maurice, who's a true freshman. And he did not play against Southeastern. All right, Southeastern, I did not know, especially as a freshman, how much one guy we can miss on defense. That kid is the heart and soul of our defense currently, and he is just a freshman. Very talented kid, which is it's a surprise that a kid that young can be that important and that impactful, but he is. So really, really proud of our kids and how they responded after the letdown at Southeastern in a game where we thought going into the game we should have won, or we're going to be able to win. So anyway, I mean, again, really proud of our kids, really proud of where we're at. And I know offensively we're way ahead of where we are defensively, but, I mean, we're number 1 in the conference in offense. We're the top offense in our conference. We're number 2 in scoring by 2 points behind Hardy. We're number 5 in the country passing the ball. I think Reed's number 3 in the country in touchdowns. So think about those numbers now. I mean, these are numbers that we didn't put up in NAI days. I mean, I know we were number 1 in defense all the time. Right? I don't think we were number 1 in offense or top 5 in passing ever. In those days. So what we're doing right now is kind of remarkable, actually, offensively. So once we get our defense to catch up with that, I think we'll be really, really good. The future's really bright, So we got some work to do, obviously, on defense to catch up to where we are offensively. But that's why it is called building a program, not jump starting one, so to speak. This week we have Southern Nazarene at home. Southern Nazarene, they're sitting at 1-6 right now. They beat Monticello 31-17 for their 1 win. And they're going to offensively, I don't even know what to tell you they run. They run some stuff I've never seen before. They're running like quarterback draws with counter looks and jet sweeps. They're a spread option team. And they do a lot of weird things offensively. Defensively, they're going to line up in the 30 front, 3-man front, and cover 3, and try to cover our receivers deep and let them catch the ball in front of them and not let them behind them. But teams have done that before, and it has not worked, so we'll see. we'll see how they approach that. Anyway, excuse me. Looking forward to this game. One of my former assistants that was here when I first got the job and hired him is their offense coordinator, Dustin Hayda, hometown Alva kid. He's their offense coordinator. And then my starting center last year, Austin Maley, is one of their GAs. So it'll be interesting dynamic up here this weekend in terms of playing against some guys that had been formerly a part of the program when we first started in December of 2014. So excited about that. Talked to them, called them on Monday, wished them luck, and can't wait to see them on Saturday. So anyway, we're playing really confident right now. Our offense is clicking on all cylinders, and our defense is coming around and making plays when they need to be made. Last week, and we just need to carry that over. If we can carry that over for 2 games and get a winning streak going, that momentum keeps going, and who knows how we can finish the season. Right now, we're sitting at 3-4, which I was hoping we'd be about 4-3 right now, realistically speaking, but we're not. We're at 3-4, so we're about 1 game off of the pace I thought we would be at if I were to guess at the beginning of the season, or somebody would ask me at the beginning of the season. Realistic where I thought we would be. I thought we'd be just about where we're at, So, again, that's my assessment of the last game and what we got moving forward.
Seemed to be a lot of penalties Saturday.
Yep.
Come on now, I want more than yep out of that.
Oh, they're warranted. It's all right. If you want, you can throw a flag on every single play.
I mean, were they legitimate flags?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's very rarely that
it was about 2-1, though, wasn't it? I don't know what it ended up being. One time it was 130 for us and 63 for them. I remember some guys talk about.
Yeah, I mean, my thing, okay, Tubman barely taps a guy. Well, here's an example, and it's the rule. It's fine. It's the rule. Tubman barely taps a guy. He's trying to avoid him because he's so fast. He can't, and he stops well, but they fair catch, and Tubman tries to avoid him, hits the guy, wouldn't even knock this down. All right, barely hits the guy. That's a 15-yard penalty for touching. There's 15 yards right there. Yeah, he shouldn't have touched him, but he was trying to avoid the guy, couldn't. That's a 15-yard penalty. But most people won't throw that flag. Is it a flag? Is it the rule? Yeah. So it's one of those, that's ticky-tack, but whatever. They're going to call it. Yeah, we have to overcome that. Here's the thing, and refs have a preconceived notion on who should win and who should not. All right? And giving our pass in this league, no one expects us to win, period. The refs don't expect us to win. The commissioner doesn't expect us to win. Nobody but us expects us to win, period. So we've been out flag. We've been only East Central's the only ones that have been flagged more than us. And if you watch the film over and over and over, it should be even, and they could call a penalty on every single play if they wanted to. That being said, I got reprimanded 2 weeks ago from the league for the officiating and my comments on them, so I just leave it at that. And they'll know one day that we're not the whipping boy, and they'll find out. So I'm just going to overcome it every time.
The Peyton kid had a heck of a day.
Yeah, it's the second game in a row of over 130 yards rushing, and if you remember last year, we averaged like 3 yards a carry on the season rushing the ball. We couldn't run the ball very well. This year, our running backs are averaging like upwards over 6 yards a carry. So we're running the ball extremely well. The Peyton kid he runs like he's 215 pounds and he's 170. You can't tackle the kid. The kid had 25 carries for 137, I believe. He had 1 catch for a touchdown. He caught a touchdown pass. Did not have a rushing touchdown this game, but his impact is huge. And the way he's playing right now is at a very high level. He's a tough kid. Then we can bring Jalen off the bench to spell him some. And I think Jalen had 9 carries for 77 yards or something. So having that 1-2 punch of guys that can come in and spell each other, and those two stepping up after Coda got hurt was huge. And we didn't. I guess you don't know with the freshmen what you're going to get until you actually put them out there in games, and those two have stepped up big time. And very, very proud of them. Very proud of Coach Wynn, our running back coach, and how he's coached them up and gotten them ready to play the games. Very proud of our offensive line. Who was our team MVP this week was our offensive line. Because, talk about the fourth quarter, how many times you were there, how many times did we get those first downs, those crucial first downs in the fourth quarter, just to eat the clock and really close the game out. We close the game out like a baseball analogy as a closer. Our running backs go in there as closers in our O-line and close the game out. And did a great job. You're like this. We're in our own territory. We're on like the 35-yard line, the minus 35. It's 3rd and 13. I run inside zone and we get 14 yards. It's hard to defend. If you're willing to run the ball on 3rd and long and get it, because we are right now 51% on 4th downs, and we've gone for it like 38 times on 4th down. We're 51% on 4th down, converting it. All right. Analytically speaking, on 3rd down, we're 37% of conversion. All right. So, analytically speaking, if you can get over 50% of your 4th downs, you should go for it on 4th down all the time. Doesn't matter where you're at. Doesn't matter where you're at. So, because you're going to get more possessions, and you're going to create more opportunities for your team to score points. So, don't be surprised to see a lot more onside and a lot more going for it on 4th down from us and from other teams in the future. That's the way the game is going. You're going to see the game go to this, where no one ever punts. It's going to happen. And everybody goes onside kicks it all the time. It's going to happen soon. Because onside kick, think about this. The other day, this is what I was thinking about. The other day, we kicked it deep, and we got the ball. They got the ball on the 25-yard line now for a touchback. Okay, fair. You onside kick it, it has to go at least to the other team's, to the 50-yard line. And if it goes a little bit farther, 40, 45-yard line, somewhere around there. All right, if they get the ball on the 45-yard line, that's 20 yards. 20 yards. You have an opportunity to get the ball back after you just score, and their offense stays off the field. It's a 50-50 shot, right? Onside kicking. So you're only losing 20 yards. Knowing that you're going to kick it deep into the end zone, touchback, the ball comes out of the 25-yard line, or me trying to get the ball back for our team, onside kicking it, only losing 20 yards, I'll take that bet most of the time. So that's going to happen soon. And you just see it, and it's going to shock a lot of people that aren't used to it. It's not traditional, but it's the wave of what's starting to happen. So, you play the odds. It's not gambling because you're playing the odds.
On that onside kick, are you talking about kicking an onside kick without telegraphing it to the other team?
No, I'm talking about telegraphing it. Let them know. Let's go for it every time. Why not? You only lose 20 yards.
Isn't there some way to set that up where you don't?
Oh yeah, you can do it. You just do it 20. You can do it. You can design it 100 different ways. Instead of practicing your kickoff team all the time, practice your onside kick team all the time. So you could run, 10 different onside kicks going in each game if you wanted. It's a very interesting school of thought, and I'm buying into it more and more.
I've seen several onside kicks this year in various games that were just spectacular.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
like you couldn't do it again in 100 years.
Hey, it's just like anything else. The more you practice it, the better you get at it. The more you practice it, the better you get at it. And, if you have a kick, the key is the kicker anyway. Really, the key is the kicker, the guy kicking the ball. And like Andrew, when he kicked that ball, it was perfect. That surprise was absolutely, and he recovered it. By design, he was supposed to recover it. Now, we hadn't practiced it all week. We have it designed, and we know what we're doing. The players know what they're doing, but we didn't practice it all week. We practiced a different onside kick, not that one. But that was the one that we knew that I thought would be open when I called it. So that's again, it's a weapon. It could be a weapon for you because you gain a possession. It's all about how you're going to gain possessions. If you gain possessions on turnovers, then they can't score, and you have another opportunity. All right, or you gain possessions on the kicking game. Fake kicks, fake punts, onside kicks. You know, it's all a way to get the ball without them getting to get the ball back. So you gain possessions. The more you can gain possessions, the less likely they're to score, and the more likely you are, or the more chances you have to score. And again, if you have, you know, the steel curtain out there on defense, you don't do any of that because you know you're going to stop them. But that's not where we're at. So you got to think of things differently, and that's what we've been talking about as a staff. And you know, like I said, we look at it as not gambling if you're playing percentages.
One more. It's been a long time since I was a kid, but when I did, I used to see quite a few of like fake field goals and fake punts. It seems like you never see one anymore. I suppose there's a good reason for that. The stats just don't back it up or something.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't know the answer to that.
When I was a kid,
You know,
I wouldn't surprise anybody. They'd look for it.
Right. Part of the way that the punt units are set up nowadays with the shield, it's all about the coverage now. It's really hard to fake a punt. The way you do the shield punt now, it's makes it more difficult. When you did the tight punt back in the day, and when you did the pro punt that the NFL guys do, it's easier to design stuff. It's a little bit harder with the shield punt, which is you got 3 linemen in the back now. You got all those guys up on the front line now. It's just different now. You don't have the gunners anymore that you can throw to. I mean, there's ways to do it. We just don't want to spend a lot of practice time on it. And you do see less, and I really don't know the reason for that one. But again, if somebody wanted to gain an extra possession, instead of punting it, you gain that extra possession if you get the convert a fake. For me, I'd rather go for it on 4th down with my offense, which I practice with all the time, knowing that I have the playmakers on offense to convert. I'd rather go for it than. And I don't remember how many times I've gone for it. I just know we're 51%. So, see 20. So we're 11 out of 20, or 10 out of 20. I just get those numbers from my quality control guys, and they just, hey, here's where we're at. You need to do this. You need to think about it. You know, going for it for 20 times on 4th down right now at this point in the season is a lot, but you know, I'd like to almost be twice as much as that if I had to be. You know what I mean? So, and if you notice, we never ever punt when we're on our side of the 50-yard line. Probably no one ever notices that, but we don't ever punt on our side of the 50. So we go for it. So I think last week we had one that was like on the, I don't know, it was like on the 48-yard line or something, or 42, and I was like, well, I'm going to punt this one, but I think it was 3rd and really long. So anyway, interesting. Any other questions? All right, thank you guys. Appreciate it.